Welcome to another episode of Unstoppable. We have a great guest today. We have Rob Garland, who's the founder and CEO of FunFirst. Welcome, man. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So what you're doing is so freaking cool, man. We had a little bit of a conversation off air. You were telling me a little bit about how this started and what you do. So I just want to start off by just explaining what FunFirst is and how you got here. Just a quick little recap.
Yeah, so in a nutshell, basically, FunFirst is the first and only verified crowdfunding platform for first responders. So if you're familiar with things like GoFundMe, Indiegogo, Kickstarter, they're all crowdfunding platforms out there, but there's no true verification model for them when you're raising money. So you don't know where the money's actually going. So we developed a platform where our first responders could come to, verify their first responder identity and their actual identity, and you know that the beneficiary of all funds is a first responder, and the money is only going to them.
So like, there's a lot going on where people raise a ton of money on GoFundMe, and they're not actually spending that money where they say they're spending it. So as on your platform, you guys already know that money is actually going to where those people are going to say you do. How do you do that? You vet them out, or?
Correct. So we've partnered with ID.me. ID.me is the number one verification agency in the United States for our first responders. So the beneficiary of every campaign on our platform must be verified through ID.me, and then we issue a check to those beneficiaries. So we know that those funds are only going to the verified source. So there's so many instances, especially on GoFundMe or these large crowdfunding platforms, where there's multiple campaigns for the same exact cause. And I'll give an example. Detective Joseph Seals, he was killed in the line of duty back in December. I don't know if you remember this. 5 children, horrible situation. You run his name on GoFundMe right now, there's going to be 5 active campaigns. So I believe there's 6 active campaigns actually, totaling almost $1 million. You don't know if those people that are raising the money are actually giving it to that family. Now, coming to play with our platform, that money will only go to that family, and that's it. We verify that and we make sure that that's true and honest. And we've built a platform built on trust. So it's really important for our first responders.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I absolutely love what you guys are doing. I love supporting the first responders. Tons of friends, tons of family, all first responders. Now, let's talk about you're a first responder yourself, correct? So,
Yeah.
So what do you do?
I'm an NYPD detective. I have 12 years on the job now.
Awesome. And the job's not always easy, especially right now. I'm not going to get into it, but to see somebody out there who's doing the right thing for first responders, raising money for them, I think it's incredible. Changing lives, probably. What are some of the things that people raise money for, and what are some of the things that are on your site right now, some of the campaigns that are going, and where's that money going to?
Yeah, so we went live July 1st, and we have on the platform since going live about 30 campaigns, and of those 30 campaigns, they've raised almost $100,000. So it's incredible, the steam that we're getting, the traction that we're getting. People are starting to understand why FunFirst is here. So there's so many reasons why you could raise money on our platform. You could raise money for an illness, a surgery, an off-duty death, a line-of-duty death, catastrophic loss, equipment for a department. There's departments out there that don't have the funds. There's a campaign on our platform right now in Missouri, Caldwell, Missouri, where actually the mayor of the town, they came to us and they said, listen, we don't have funds for our fire department. We need to raise money. Our fire department covers 40 square miles, 700 residents, and we need a brand new fire department. So they're looking to raise money right now, $40,000. There's good causes out there. People can raise money for a toy drive or donating food to a local hospital. And there's also business ventures. Listen, like myself, I started a business venture with FunFirst. This was a dream. This is the goal that I wanted to do. There's so many first responders out there that don't know how to get that started, don't have the capital to get that started. Jump on our platform. Do a campaign to raise some capital without having to worry about shares. Raise some capital from your friends and family and start what your dream is.
I think that's awesome, man. So there's so many cops that I know, and I knew a few that got hurt in the line of duty. They're now retired on 3/4, and you know they have time. They have things. They don't know what to do with themselves, and they can't go out and they can't be too physically active. But there are things that they could do to make money, or not even people that are hurt, cops that are retired, or cops that are still active that have free time. And it's not being a police officer isn't always associated with taking risk in the sense of business. You know what I mean? Like, you guys take risk every day, right? You guys go out there and risk your lives, and it's amazing what you do, and God bless all of you, because I couldn't do it, right? It's amazing. But from a business standpoint, that's much different than what you do on a daily basis. So to get started and get rolling, sometimes you need that support, and not only financially, but just like understanding that the idea you have, like making it so that it feels justified, making it feel that like people support this idea, and I can go out and I can actually do this. So sometimes it's not even about the money; it's about the support. But how do you recommend business owners? I'm sorry. How do you recommend police officers getting into that and taking those steps to become a actual business owner or an entrepreneur?
Well, yeah. So I'll take it a step further. It's not just police officers; it's all of our first responders, right?
Correct.
So it's going to be law enforcement, firefighters, medical professionals, corrections officers, dispatch officers, military. They all see things one way, right? And I'll use myself as a perfect example. I came on the job and I thought my whole life I was going to be a detective, police officer, hopefully become a detective, which I did. And then from there, I'd retire after 20 years and I'd say, okay, I'm going to go into a security job, or I'm going to open up a, whatever, maybe a different type of firm for first responders, basically, right? I didn't understand the business world. So I wanted to dive into that. And there's so many different ways of diving into that people are afraid of doing because they're afraid of failing. And you can't be afraid of failing because that's the only risk you're going to take in the business world is a failure risk. In the first responder world, you're taking, the risk is your life, right? Your life and your family not being able to come home to them. So that's a hard risk that you're taking every single day. But in business, the only risk you're taking is failure. You're taking a risk to fail. And that's okay to fail because when you fail, you only learn and you grow.
I think that's such great advice, man. I'm different, right? Like you have this life of being a first responder. It's amazing. My life I've always been a business person. It's always been in my blood to be an entrepreneur since I'm a kid, right? It's just like, that's just how I was bred. And I could tell you that I have been part of a lot of businesses I started, businesses I bought, businesses that I partnered in. And I have some massive failures under my belt, right? And I could tell you that you can't be afraid to fail. Like, that's such good advice. It's such amazing advice. And people get so afraid of failing. People get so afraid of, well, what if it doesn't work? And then in the moment when it is happening, or there is some sort of downtime, or your business isn't doing well, people just feel like that's it. Like there's nothing left. And I explain to so many people that learn lessons, get the value out of the moment. I could promise you there's going to be something better on the other side. It's not going to be the end all. You're going to learn something. You're going to come out better. You're going to come out this. So being afraid to fail is crazy. You're never going to succeed if you're afraid to fail. So I think that is like the most amazing advice.
Oh yeah, perfect.
It's awesome. Talk to me more about you, right? Because I talk to you, right? Hearing you say that business was tough for you, or it didn't come natural, and you always thought you were going to be, something to do with being a cop or being that sounds crazy to me, right? Because you sound like such a seasoned businessman. How did you transition into that, and what made you so passionate about it?
So I want to say maybe about 7 years ago, I started just on my own developing different business plans here and there. And a partner of mine I worked in Midtown North Precinct in Manhattan, and a partner of mine, me and him decided we wanted to try business together. And it didn't work out. It failed. And I'm not going to mention who that business was or what went into it, but a large corporation stole our idea because we didn't protect it properly. And I didn't know, because I didn't know what went into the whole business world, the whole business scene at that time. So I said, I need to research this. I need to understand it, because one day I'm going to hit that home run. I'm going to get the right business idea. I'm going to get the right team behind me. And that's what we've done now with FunFirst. We've really created a one-of-a-kind platform with an incredible team. And what goes into that whole business world and the whole idea is so much research. And I like to look into the whole why. Why did you do it, right? And I did it. It's not to chase the money. It's to chase a dream. It's of helping first responders. And there's so many different things that dive into this business. There's forming a corporation. There's raising capital for your business. There's putting a team together. There's the background of all the compliance figures that we put into it. There's our CFO, Michael Luna, who puts in so much time and effort to all the numbers behind the scenes. There's so much, as you know, there's so much that goes into a business. And it's not just, hey, I paid X amount of dollars and I put together some website. It's not that. It's way, way more. It's way more complicated, but it's a lot of time, and you have to be passionate about it. And that's what goes into it. You got to be so passionate about it. You got to have the love and the drive to want to succeed, because you got to be ready to fail at the same time, right? So when you fail, you know how to make those adjustments.
Yeah, man, and it's unbelievable some of the steps you guys have taken. First of all, I looked at all your stuff, you guys. It's incredible what you guys have done. It's incredible how much you got, the marketing you've done, the PR you've done. It's just really amazing how much you've been able to get the word out there in such a short period of time. So even when it comes as far as how you started the business, and we're not going to get too much into it, but the amount of investors you have and the people that have come on board and a seed round and raising capital, it's amazing what you've done. So kudos to you and your entire team. It's just it's been incredible. Today there's so many businesses, right, that are a business, but a business for a cause, right? So like what you guys are doing is an incredible business model, right? It's great for business, but the amount of good you do, it's almost like as if you're a nonprofit, right? And I believe it started as a nonprofit and kind of morphed into something more and something new. Right. Tell me about the journey and how you started and where you are today.
So a lot of people, when they hear about FunFirst and what we're doing, they automatically think, like you said, oh, they're a nonprofit. But we're not. We are doing a good cause, though, and we're allowing people to raise money, which is incredible. It's money that they never had, and it's support that they never would have seen also, which is the best part about our platform. We're seeing that whole support. But we started this when we officially went live last July. Before we had the platform, we went live as an actual business. We were incorporated as a not-for-profit, and we were going the route as a nonprofit agency. So we did a campaign in October for a friend of ours, Matthew McDevitt, who played baseball in Geotech, firefighter. He ended up passing away from cancer. Tragic story with him. Close friend, and it's just horrible. But think about him almost every day. And we raised for him, I believe, $9,000, $8,000 or $9,000, and it was incredible. And that was something that we were explaining to the IRS what we were doing. That was basically the start of the platform being built. The IRS doesn't like to recognize crowdfunding for an individual. If you're doing it for a whole cause, for firefighters that are ill for cancer or stuff like that, then fine, we could have done this. But we wanted to give back with the most possible to the individual. So we had to take the business route. So we had to change our business model a bit to move away from the nonprofit route, to make it into an actual business, and then move forward and say, hey, we're raising money for the individual on our platform. And we're really giving the max effort for these people to get the most help that they need during their time.
Now, and you guys have spun this off where there is a nonprofit component to this. What is that? You guys are spinning it off, creating a nonprofit, raising some capital through that, through FunFirst, right? And that those people are going to donate money to line of duty deaths. Or,
yes.
So tell me about it.
So the platform itself, like we explained, is for first responders, military and medical professionals, for all different types of causes. But one of the campaigns on our platform is for the FunFirst Reserve. And that's in the process of building its own entity into a nonprofit organization that will be attached to FunFirst and coincide with each other. So the FunFirst Reserve is a reserve where every year there's approximately 300 first responders that die in the line of duty. And we wanted to give back. So we want to be able to, when that happens, go right to that family, no questions asked. Here's $5,000. Now, in order for that campaign to be revolving and to work, we need $1.5 million revolving in that campaign yearly, because the average number, we need to be able to do that. So we decided the best way of doing this is to create it as a nonprofit entity, because there are people out there that want to give to nonprofits large sums of money. And we want to be able to, hey, we're taking that money now and we give back to these individuals and these families that lose a loved one in the line of duty. And that's why we're building the FunFirst Reserve as a nonprofit.
I love it, man. I love it. I think there's so many people out there and so many corporations that want to support first responders. I know for me, it's something dear to my heart. Like, I can't say it enough. What the first responders do, what you guys do on a daily basis, is something I respect so much. So there's nobody I'd rather be supporting out there than the first responders. I think it's incredible what you guys are doing. If someone wanted to support, if somebody wanted to look at the campaigns that you have or get involved with the campaign that you're just talking about, how do we do it?
So there's a couple different ways. You can visit www.funfirst.com and you can go see all the campaigns that are on our platform, and you could contribute to one now. That's easy. FunFirst Reserve is also at the bottom of our website. You can contribute to that campaign. If you know somebody in need, you could have them come to our platform, sign up, and start a campaign. Or if you want to start a campaign for someone in need, you can do that. And it's unique in a way where you notify a first responder, and they're the only beneficiary of that campaign. So it's a great process we have for our first responders, and we're here to help.
Dude, I think what you guys are doing is incredible. I'm a huge supporter of it. I can't wait to get to know you guys more, do more things. Look out for these guys on Colton Interactive. We're going to do more with them. We're thinking about getting them their own show. I think it's going to be phenomenal. FunFirst.com. Go there, check it out. Thank you so much for coming in, man. I love what you guys are doing.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
No.